YouTube? Welcome back to Paint Points. It's that man, our boo is brother man. And today we got another video for y'all. Today we talking about Brandon Coleman, man. Looks like he possibly, maybe, asked to play center for the Washington Commanders in the 2026 season. Hey, as you guys know, we let go of Tyler Biadasz early in the offseason. Was it a good decision? I mean, he is like top 7, top 8, centers in the league as far as getting paid. And if you fall into the analytics of everything, you'll see that he's probably top 12, top 13 center in the league. They paid him a lot of money. Dan Quinn paid him Dan Quinn got him from Dallas. He said, come over here and be our center hold to our offensive line. And all of a sudden they release him with time left on his contract. Kind of throws me a little bit. If you ask me, from my point of view, hey, this is business, man. I feel like AP is going away from getting those guys that Dan Quinn is most comfortable with. Going away from those guys that Dan Quinn has history with and trying to go out and get some ballers, man. Trying to go out and get some football players, man. That's what this shit is about, man. This shit's not about picking your buddy up and giving your buddy a contract. Let your buddy go get his contract from another team, man. It's all about the best of the best, man. And a lot of times it's not like that, man. A lot of times these coaches, they go to different, situations and they bring along who they comfortable with, who they think could fit in their system. But all the while, you not looking at the broader landscape and understanding that there's a whole lot of other talent out there that can give you probably better than what you think you can get from the guy that you're comfortable with. So I feel like Adam Peters is kind of going away from those guys. You see Bobby Wagner. I don't think Bobby Wagner coming back, bro. We made too many moves for Bobby Wagner to come back and take whose spot. Come on. Armstrong looked like he the odd man out. Let's keep it a buck. He looked like he the odd man out. Got rid of guys in the first year, but all in all, we talking about Brandon Coleman, man. Hey, if it's your first time here, if you've been here before, I appreciate you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, because we're going to get into this commander shit easy, man. Stop this shit, man.
Let's just get to the point.
All right, let's get to it, man. Hey, so it's all everything is a double-edged sword, right? So the theory of AP going away from the Dan Quinn comfortable players, the players that Dan Quinn is most comfortable with. On the flip side, it's like, all right, Dan Quinn, like, what type of coach are you, bro? Like, all this nice guy shit, like, there gotta be some kind of accountability in your leadership. So I think the leadership of Dan Quinn is changing to more of an accountability leadership. I think he's holding guys more accountable. So guys like, Brandon Coleman, he's like, hey, Brandon Coleman, if you can't cut it at guard, shit, you gonna have to find a way at center. I think Dan Quinn is in a mode where he's gonna challenge these guys more, and add that into his leadership, which will ultimately be great for the organization and all the fans and everybody else. But if you just look at this situation, the NFL's a dirty game, man. The NFL's a dirty game. They will push you out this league. You can get pushed out this league, man. It don't matter who you are. And a lot of times the guys who are teetering between, damn, he might, if we play him, give him real time, he might outplay his contract. And that's all this plays into, man. I understand Brandon Coleman has been injured. I understand, there's been, a couple of, issues as far as, fit. But if you ask me, that guy came in, at draft is supposed to be a guard. Came in, played left tackle for most of the year. And, he played, he wasn't the best in the league as left tackle his first year as being a rookie who was planning to play guard. He actually, we could say he was, he was somebody you could fuck with. Like, I could fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he showed brute strength. He showed quick feet. He showed quick, strong hands. And, I don't know where it all went down. Maybe it is the injuries, But as we can see in different situations like the NBA, sometimes sometimes the players, sometimes the actual team will overplay your injury to keep you in a certain position. So let's not get that screwed, man. This move is setting Brandon Coleman up to fail and potentially push him out the league. The idea of Brandon Coleman suddenly being asked to play center is just misguided. It feels like classic NFL the slow fade where a team quietly nudges a young player out the league towards the exit. The recent rumor that Washington plans to give him a real rep at center next season is baffling. I don't even understand it. I don't understand it. Bruh, it seems like they like Chris Paul better. So what do you do with a guy like Brandon Coleman? Just trade him, bro. Trade him for pennies, bro. Get him off the roster and try to bring in somebody else who you believe in or who you think could actually contribute to this team and have a set role. You know what I'm saying? Because it's cool to be able to do, a whole lot of things, but when you in that situation, the money get funny. You know what I'm saying? They end up not really paying you really what you're worth, kind of pigeonhole you to a whole position. You know what I'm saying? But when you consider the context that, he was drafted, I think he was actually drafted be left tackle. They bounced him to guard, they benched him, and then made him a healthy scratch. And now they want him to learn the most mentally demanding position on the line. Bro, the ups and downs of Brandon Coleman on his team is something to be studied. You know what I'm saying? And that's not development. That's a player being jerked around until the narrative comes, he just couldn't stick. He just can't stick anywhere. You know what I'm saying? When a franchise keeps moving you like furniture, it's rarely because they see you as a foundational piece. At some point, Coleman has to recognize the pattern. Center is not a position that you casually hand to someone who hasn't been stabilized at guard, hasn't been stabilized at any position. It requires years of rep, command of protections, and the trust with the quarterback. And Washington is throwing him into the fire with no track record of investing in his growth. If anything, it looks like they're setting him up to fail so that he could justify moving on from him. You know what I'm saying? It's like they trying to justify moving on from Brandon Coleman, and he could be a casualty this year. Let's be aware. We got to be on a Brandon Coleman watch. He could be a cap casualty. Even though, the money right with him, we're not paying him too much, but he could be a guy that they let go that the fans probably don't understand why. But everybody should. You can see the writing on the board, man. You can see you know what I'm saying? You can see that shit. They keep moving you. They feel like they don't got, then they re-sign Brandon Coleman. It's either injuries or they just don't know where to put you, because they could have kept you backup left tackle. You know what I'm saying? But what that means as far as money wise, as far as being a as far as being, a guy who they played at guard a lot, even a guy who they're considering that center. If you were a stalwart at the tackle position, it's bro, shit, we're not trying to pay this nigga all this money. So a lot of times they be playing with your money, man. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be ahead of the game with that, man. You know what I'm saying? And the Commanders throwing him into the fire with no track record, like I said, is just showing that they're not investing into his growth. If anything, they're not helping him, progress and get to that second contract. Hey, man, that second contract is what every NFL player really plays for, man. And they're really putting a hope to that second contract. Instead of letting the team dictate the storyline, Coleman should protect his career and request a trade to an organization that's actually going to plan for him. That's what I feel, man. And look, hey, there's a double-edged sword to everything, man. You can say, hey, Brandon Coleman, put your head down, go to work. Whatever they say, do. You could do that. But that could just be the steady slope of them just trying to get rid of you. So why don't you be ahead of that and stick your flag in the ground and say, nah, I'm good. I'm playing guard. I'm playing tackle. That's where I'm at. Why not? Why can't he stick his foot in the ground and stand his ground, man? And have them trade him. But then you say, hey, he's gonna be looked at as a malcontent. He's gonna be looked at as a problem in the locker room. Man, that's bullshit. That's all this shit is, man. This is the setup, bro. This is the Brandon Coleman setup. Like, we've seen this before. We've seen this before. You know what I'm saying? You know, Washington's approach, the Commanders' approach isn't about unlocking his potential at this point. It's about making him a fall guy for their own failure to build a competent offensive line, man. Or just, you know, to develop a guy who showed promise. Is it the injuries or is it, you know, the team's plan? You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and take a look at some information from around the Commanders universe and see exactly where this rumor is coming from, and see if we kind of get a little bit more information on what the hell going on with Brandon Coleman and his positioning with the Commanders moving forward, at least for 2026. God damn. If not, trade me, bro. Like the draft about to come up. Like, where does Brandon Coleman fit? Not just with the Commanders, in the NFL scope. Where does Brandon Coleman fit? Especially when the draft coming up. It's crazy, man.
Was the potential of Brandon Coleman getting involved in the center competition.
Bullshit. If Brandon Coleman at center, bro, don't do it. Hey, Brandon Coleman, don't do it, man.
Here this offseason or this,
I wouldn't even take no snaps at center, because all they're going to do is just show you need more development at center. So if you just putting bad film out there after bad film after bad film, what you think is going to end up happening? There's going to be a narrative that you putting bad film out that you not developing into a guy that's going to be able to help this team win in the future. Don't do it, Brandon Coleman.
Season training camp period and all those types of things. Wrote an article about it on WSA 9, and essentially what Dan Quinn said is that certainly there is a path where that could potentially happen. However, Brandon Coleman is going to start the season at guard. Like, that is, he's going to start the season at left guard, competing for reps at that position. Okay. It's going to be a term, or it's going to be basically a situation of how the battles unfold, both at left guard and at center. But if there is a need there, Dan Quinn's focus is getting the best 5 offensive linemen, the combination of the best 5 offensive linemen on the field. So one of the things I asked him about was,
man, I don't want to hear none of that. DQ, you go out and get a center, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you seen on my past videos, there's a guy, Sam Hecht, out of Kansas. There's another guy out of Iowa, and there's another guy out of Auburn. There's a couple centers that will be available with that 3rd round pick, and the center out of Iowa, Logan Jones, he might be able to fall to the 4th round, but he come from the Iowa system. We not the only smart ones out here. You know what I'm saying? If you understand that Iowa system, then you understand. Tyler Linderbaum, who just got signed for $27 million out in Las Vegas, they understand. They understand the Iowa pipeline, man. So, hey, it's going to be what's going to be, man. We're going to see the future of Brandon Coleman and the Washington Commanders. If you got this far in the video, then you understand that, hey, they're trying to put Brandon Coleman in at center. That is a death threat to his career with the Washington Commanders. Hey, man, if you got this far, I do appreciate you, man. Hey, like, comment, subscribe, and beat up the comment section, man. Let me know what you think. Is this Brandon Coleman signing his career away, even by taking reps at center? Don't take any reps at center, bro. Bad film is bad film regardless. So you got to protect yourself against bad film. You know what I'm saying? Or is the team just trying to, get all they can from out of a player who, may be, a little bit injury prone, maybe on the shelf a little bit too often. We got to put you to work. We paying you. We got to put you to work, man. Hey, man, like, comment, subscribe, beat up the comment section. Let's go.